Welcome to another edition of Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, and at the end of the last video I randomly drew another Commodore 64 game out of the tin, and that game is Kettle. So we're going to be playing that today, obviously. So let's take a look at the fact file for the game. Kettle was released in 1987. It's a European release published by Alligator Software. It was developed by Tony Crowther, who did a lot of Commodore 64 games, and the price I paid for it was £1.45. I suspect that might have been part of a bundle because that seems quite cheap for a single game. And the current going rate on eBay, well, you can get a new old stock copy, so a copy that's never been played before, for about £6. So that's pretty good if you want to get a copy of the game that no one's ever touched or loaded before. Hopefully it would load for you though. This is a game I had when I was a kid and I seem to remember it being pretty good fun. We'll find out in a second. I actually bought it probably 10 years ago, but I've probably only loaded it up once just to check it works, and it's been sat on the shelf ever since. So let's take a look at it now and see if it lives up to those childhood memories. Let's start then by taking a look at the packaging for the game, and it's pretty vibrant and colourful. We've got the Kettle logo at the top there. We've got a nice cute yellow kettle there with a nice face on, and there's another one in the background kind of tearing through the packaging. There's also like a bubbling cauldron at the bottom there with an eye on it with some bubbles coming out of it, and a jewel of some kind. There's the alligator in the corner there representing Alligator Software, and it says there simultaneous 2-player action. And there's the spine, which is pretty plain in comparison. You've just got a kettle in a very boring font there and a big barcode on it, so that's not so good. And on the back, got the Kettle logo again, some screenshots. You can see it's a split screen game of some description. Well, I know what description it is because I've played it before. It's a kind of shooter, I suppose you'd call it. And there's also a picture of a secret map there. And it says 2 screens, 2 players, 2 battles. A truly amazing, interactive, all-action arcade spectacular with a unique game plan. Trapped in a complex underground system, your only means of escape is a hidden tin opener. Hidden but where? Deep in a bubbling bowel. Which one you don't know, and in finding out, be careful, there are a few surprises lying in wait. Split screen vision lets you study your opponent's progress, and if you're kind you can assist, and if you're ruthless you can wait and plunder. And there's a quote from Tony Crowther himself there. Action-packed, nerve-tingling excitement set in an unusual game scenario. You've never seen a game like this before. Well, I think that's definitely true. Quick look at the tape before I load it up then. As you can see, quite nicely done. Nice red label on it with the kettles on there, so that's quite nice. So let's move in and have a look at the instructions for the game. It's got 30 levels. It's already been mentioned on the back, so I won't repeat this. Your kettle's in an underground system. You have to break free. You're offered 2 start levels. To escape from each level, you must locate the tin opener hidden in one of the bubble-emitting bowels. Your only protection is your orbiting crizzer. 10 hits on the bowel and this changes to a diamond. 1 more hit will reveal either a tin opener alien bonus or energy, giving a jug of water. And an alien is destroyed by 10 hits of the crizzer. Your split screen allows you to monitor your opponent's progress and help him, hinder him, or if you're clever, watch him do all the work, then nip in and collect the spoils. So it's a 2-player game, obviously, joystick, and there's also a bunch of options there, which we'll probably get into in more detail when it's loaded up. Lots of options, and the points there as well. Quite low scoring by the looks of those points, and of course the loading instructions nice and simple: hit shift and run stop. So yeah, we've got kettles, we've got bowels, we've got crizzers. I feel like Tony Crowther may have been smoking something when he came up with the idea for this game. So let's load it up and see what it's like. So the game's loaded, and you can see a predominantly grey title screen but with a nice colourful Kettle logo at the top. Oh, when you go over that there, it goes all white. So as you move the mouse around, it actually, it changes what's in the background of that Kettle text. So this title screen, firstly let's mention it's written by Tony Crowther. We knew that already. This title screen's got loads of options on it, so let's go through them quickly. Firstly, the player 1 options. You can play with 1 or 2 kettles even though it's a 1-player game, so I'm going to stick with 1 obviously for now. The crizzer, that's the thing that spins around and you shoot with. You can have that retreating or proceeding. I think retreat means that it comes back to you after you hit something, and proceed means it carries on, so we'll leave that as it is for now. There's also 2-player options for seeing just your aliens and seeing all the aliens. We'll leave it like that because I'm not going to be playing 2-player anyway. So let's just click that back on the 1-player mode. You've also got music or sound effects options. You can't have both, but you can play music or you can play sound effects, so we'll stick with music for now. And over here you've got the level, which is easy or hard, and we'll stick with easy for that. And finally you've got time, which is the time of day. So you can play at daytime or nighttime, and again we'll stick with daytime for now.
on that one. So there you go, that's all the options. Quite a lot of different sort of customizability to the game you want to play. And then obviously you press start game to start game. So, oh, I haven't mentioned the music yet, have I? So in the background is music by the late Ben Dalglish, and if you listen carefully, that's actually got the music from Polly Put the Kettle On. This sort of, I don't know, is it a nursery rhyme or something like that you'd probably call it. So that's nicely done. It's a pretty decent Sid tune, quite funky in places and well worth listening to instead of listening to me talking about it, I suppose. So there's a little bit of it. Now let's get on and play the game. So when you press start the game, you get two options. For your starting level, you can start on level 1 with no points. We can start on level 4, and if you complete it you get 200 points. Now when you get past level 4, a third option then appears in the middle, which is to restart on the last level you played on. So that's quite a nice feature as well, but for now let's start on level 1 and keep it simple. So here we go, I've materialised in the top half of the screen. Obviously if it's a two-player game then the bottom half would be populated as well. And I'm a pink kettle with a sort of helicopter rotors on the top of it. Propellers? No, rotors, I think they're rotors. So the idea of the game is simply to shoot these things that are spitting the bubbles out, these pots, and eventually when you've shot them enough times they'll turn into a diamond like just happened. And then when you shoot the diamond it'll turn into something. Now what you're looking for is a tin opener to allow you to get out of this tin on the right hand side and complete the level. So there you go. Now I've collected that because basically the first level is really simple. You've just got this little blue area and that's about it. So when you collected the tin opener, as you can see the can opens at the bottom of the screen there. You can exit and move on to level 2 or the next level if you're already on a later level than level 2. And basically each level just gets progressively bigger with more pots to get to hit, and more enemies and different kinds of things come out when you do destroy that diamond that gets materializes when you there we go, when you destroy the pot. So there you go, I've got a bonus that time. Now what happens is as you progress around the level, it's always the last one, always the last pot you find and destroy that has the tin opener in it. So you basically have to destroy every pot on the level. So there you go, level 2's got two bubbly things, I can't remember what it called them in the instructions, and so the second one's got the tin opener in, and on we go to the next level, which again is more of the same. It's very samey from one level to the next. It just gets a little bit more challenging for each level as more pots appear and more enemies. So again, let's just destroy this pot. You have to hit it 10 times. It's a little bit glitchy in terms of whether you actually register a hit or not. With this thing spinning around you, if you press fire when it's at the top, it goes from the top, and if you press it when it's at the bottom, it goes from the bottom. So sometimes you do miss the thing that you're trying to hit. So my strategy is just to keep hammering the fire button. So that time I've got like a milk bottle or something like that, and that's given me an energy boost. You've not got life, you've just got energy. So when the energy runs out, you die. Currently my energy is 97. That's on the left hand side of the score readout, that's in the sort of the section that would normally be occupied by the second player if you were playing a two-player game. So let's move on to, well, there's nothing there, so let's move on down here. So yeah, let's destroy this one, see what we get in this one. It's the tin opener because that was the last one on the level. So you can see some obstacles are added in each level as you progress. You've got these sort of mountains to go over, not too challenging, it has to be said. So let's move on to level 4. It's a pretty easy game so far. Looks like this level's got a couple of different directions you can go in, so let's see what's over here. Oh yeah, you can definitely go up here, so I assume there's going to be something to destroy there, yeah. So there's a bit of exploration, a bit of sort of shooting I suppose, or throwing this crizzer thing at the oh, that's an alien. So this is where it gets a little bit more tricky because the alien follows you, but actually the orbiting crizzer works as a kind of shield, so it will just kind of destroy things that come close to you. So I think you have to hit the alien 10 times, just like you have to hit the bubbling pot 10 times. So let's move on, see if we can find the other pots. I don't know if the number of pots is exactly equal to the level that you're on, so there might be 4 on this level, I'm not sure. We'll find out. I've got 1 so far, so there's an energy boost, and that's 2 pots, so here's a third one. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, so it looks like there's going to be at least 4 on this level. So while I'm moving around, let's talk about graphics. Graphics, not too bad, I think. Quite a cute main sprite. The other background things are fairly basic, and there's a lot of classic Commodore 64 brown in play there. The background's nice, it kind of moves in a sort of parallax effect, I suppose you'd say, or maybe the background's static, the blue background I mean, and everything else isn't. I'm not sure how you describe that, but that's what happens, so it looks a little bit different as you move around. So this is the last one, and the exit's there, so I think this is going to open the exit and let me go to level 5. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Looked a bit strange, that. I assume I'm on level 5 now. Yeah, it does say that in the middle of the screen at the bottom. So yeah, graphics not too bad. The music's pretty good as well. I assume this is another Ben Dalglish tune, and quite frantic sounding. It's pretty decent. It's overall quite a nicely put together game. It's not particularly challenging as it stands, and I'm already on level 5 without being too much trouble. So you can you can float quite far away from the pot thing if you wanted to, and hurl this thing at it, but it just takes longer. So because the bubbles that are bouncing around don't really do you that much harm, they're quite easy to destroy. You can just pick up, get close and hammer it quite closely to destroy it more quickly. Okay, so I'm going to guess that there's another pot along here, and that's going to contain the can opener again. Oh, a diamond. No, that's a bonus, so there's another one somewhere. That must have been number 4 then. So there must, yeah, here we go, here it is. Oh, I could have got through that gap there by the looks of it. I missed that. Okay, so there's the tin opener. Oh, I didn't miss that because that's an empty room. So it looks like there's a few dead ends as you progress and the levels get larger. Yeah, it's a bit empty, it's fair to say, this game. I mean, I think it would be better if there were a few more enemies floating around, or perhaps sort of trap-like obstacles that drain your health. Because once you've completed an area, it's quite easy to just wander around almost aimlessly, if you've got an aim, obviously. But yeah, so it could do with a bit more going on, I think. It's not a terrible game, I would say. It's alright, it's nothing spectacular, but it's playable. I could be in trouble here. Oh yeah, oh, I've been got, so there you go, that's game over. So I got to level 6 or something like that. So you can put your name in. It's got a nice cursor driven name entry screen, so that's quite good. So there we go, got top score of 605. Big score for getting through 6 or 7 levels there. So now, as I said, when you go, actually no, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to change some of the options. So let's have a look at it now with 2 kettles, 1 player with 2 kettles, and then you've got 2 options: kill everything or kill your aliens. I don't know, let's kill everything, I suppose. And I'm also going to change the time to night time, and also the music. I'm going to switch to sound effects just so you can hear the sound effects. And then when you go to start the game, you've now got the option to start on level 5, which was the last level I completed, and if I complete that level I'll immediately get 580 points, which is what I got at the end of that level. So that's quite a nice way to sort of carry on. Even though you've died, you can just carry on exactly where you left off, so that's a pretty cool thing. So let's do that now. So a little bit through level 5, which I've already completed once, but let's do it again. So you can see that the kettle, the second kettle, follows you around and acts as almost like a shield. That one doesn't fire, but it does. The Krizzer thing still spins around it, so you've almost got a shield all the time. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't play with 2 really, other than it's a little bit confusing. So as you can see, the nighttime setting just basically blanks out that blue background and makes it black, which doesn't look great, to be honest. It's okay, but it's not amazing. I think I prefer it with the daytime option. So I've got the milk bottle there, so that's topped up my health again. I think it tops it up your energy randomly from a value from 10 to 50 or something like that. So also as I mentioned, this level's got the sound effects on now due to the setting that I changed. So the sound effects, fairly basic, you know, shooting stuff, few explosion noises, things like that. Nothing to write home about in the sound effects department. And there's a nice sound effect for the bonus though, I suppose. So what I'm going to do is try and complete this level and move on to the next. And then I'm going to, there we go, there's the tin opener thing. So move on to the next level. I'll try and complete the next level, and then I'm going to go back and change some of the options again and show other things basically that you can see in the game. So there we go. I've got that bonus of 580 for completing the level that I previously completed, so that's a nice touch. Gives you the incentive to play again rather than have to start from the beginning where the earlier levels are really quite boring. I mean, it doesn't get much more interesting, to be honest, as you move along. As I said, more enemies, more variety in enemies, traps, things like that would be a nice addition. But yeah, you can just run away from the alien and let the Krizzer destroy it, so that's quite a useful way of playing the game, I think. So yeah, I just want to finish this level off, but let's just hammer this for a bit. Oh, another alien. So I think this is the last one on level 6. We'll soon find out when I destroy it and hit the hitting the diamond's probably the trickiest thing. It's supposed to only be one hit according to the instructions, but it definitely seems like it takes more than one hit. So yeah, I've got the tin opener, so let's just complete level 6. There's a few more obstacles and things to navigate past, but again, nothing too challenging really. So right now I'm on level 7, but what I'm going to do is hit run stop, because if you hit run stop it immediately quits the game with the score that you've got. So there you go, I've now got 1012 for that. So then if we go back to the, I won't go back to the start game option, I'm just going to change a couple of things back. I'm going to change it back to daytime, and let's go back to the music, because I think the music's better than the sound effects. Let's change the Krizzer to be proceed, just to show the difference between that. And I'm actually just going to put it on a player 2 game as well, because I can move. I've got another joystick plugged in, so I can move that around, but actually you don't really need to. You can just leave one screen as it is. So I guess see all aliens kind of makes sense, and kill everything or kill your aliens, I don't really know. Let's just go with that. So start it up again, and now you can see that you can start from level 6 with 928 points if you complete it. So I'll play through that level 6 again, and then we'll have a look at levels 7 and 8, and then that'll probably do for this video, I think. So this is the start of level 7. I thought I'd switch the music on, but the music isn't on, it's still sound effects, so there you go. So as you can see, it's a split screen game, as you already knew, and basically I can just leave the one guy there, the green one with the thing spinning around it, the Krizzer, and it'll just fend off anything that comes near it. So in the meantime I can roam around as the pink Kettle and start to explore this level. So I'm expecting there's going to be 7 pots on this one to destroy. I guess you could work together as a team to destroy them and then see who gets the bonuses and things like that, or you could just go off and do your own thing. So that's quite a nice touch. This is definitely getting a little bit more challenging now, because there's a lot more things around. Also the proceed rather than return or retreat or whatever it was for the Krizzer, that was a bad move, because it's annoying when it doesn't come back to you. You press it, you hold fire down, it just goes right to the far side of the screen. I don't think that helps in any great way. Maybe it does. Let's see what happens here. Are they classing as multiple shots? Oh, okay, maybe that is useful, because you can just hold it really far away and not get hit by any of the bubbles. But when you're trying to hit it quickly, it doesn't really work so well. So I guess you pays your money and takes your choice kind of thing. I think I'm going round in circles a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is move to the other player, pick up my second joystick and just wander down with him and see if I can catch up with the other one, and maybe open a couple of pots with this one. As I've already said, it's quite dull when there's nothing around to destroy. Oh, there's me. Go past me. That was weird, watching it on both screens at the same time. This is a little bit more tricky because you can kind of get stuck in the scenery, and the scenery does do you damage, so you've got to be a little bit careful if you've got no energy left, I suppose. Okay, we'll leave him there, that's good enough. Bring the other guy along and do it with him, because you might have heard some clicking there. If you did, that's a Zipstick rather than a Competition Pro. So there's two ways to get through these sort of diagonal sections. You can either go slowly, or if you get the angle right, you can just kind of drift down. There's other me. So I think I'm fairly near the end. I'm not sure how many pots I've destroyed, but yeah, that's quite useful actually, having the Crizzer at a distance. Okay, so there's the exit thing, the tin opener. So I go through the hole here, and then what happens is there's like a timer going, so I've got to get the other guy through it, I assume, before the time runs out. I don't know what happens if the time does run out. You can see the background colours changing as well, and I made it. And there we go, on to the next level, which again is more of the same really. I'm not sure if I've got any further than this when playing it before. So I think I'm going to wrap it up at that point, but there is one thing I noticed, which I think is probably a bug. I just want to demonstrate this. It may not happen, it may not happen every time you play it, but you can try and go back up the way you came. Let's see if it does it. Yeah, maybe it doesn't, maybe it only works in the one player mode. Okay, let's quit out of this and try it in the one player mode just to see if I can demonstrate what I think is a bug in the game. So I started a new game and I'm on level 2 at the moment. I just started from the beginning to make it quicker to complete the levels. So I'm just going to go through the hatch at the end of level 2, completed the level, and I'm just going to go and shoot one of the first pots that I find. Just get rid of this. Okay, that's an energy top up. And then when I was playing it before I started recording, just to have a few test runs, I tried going through the hatch back the way I came. I don't know if it's going to work or not, it doesn't look like it is. But basically what happened was I went through the hatch and it restarted the level I was on. It didn't go back to the previous level, but then I couldn't shoot any of the pots. It didn't matter how many times I shot them, they wouldn't blow up and turn into the diamond. So yeah, I think that's a bug, but I don't know if I can recreate it now, which is typical. But let's just try and complete this level and try it again and see if it happens on the following level. It might only be certain levels that bug occurs on, or it might have just been a glitch that only happened the one time, and I'll never be able to prove that it ever happened. But let's see. It won't take long to find out. Let's just try and go straight back up right now. No, I don't think it's going to do it. It's not looking promising. Let's just go and shoot one. See if it happens or not. No, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Oh well, it definitely happened. But I don't seem to be able to recreate that problem. No, you can't get up those usually, and that's how it should be obviously, but I definitely managed to sort of go into a spot the way it sort of restarted the level. But yeah, it's not happening, so we'll probably just leave it there. I think I've spoken enough about this game. I don't think it's a terrible game. Zap did though, they gave it 35%, which is not a good score, and I think a bit unfair. It is... Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Must have been game over. Yeah, Zap gave it 35% and they weren't impressed with it. Most other magazines gave it reasonable scores. I think it's not a great game in as much as you've got not a lot to do really, other than just do the same thing over and over again on increasingly bigger levels. But I don't think it's a terrible game. It's probably more fun as a two-player game where it takes on a bit of a competitive element. But in terms of options, it's got lots of options. The music's good, the graphics are pretty nice, presentation's good all round really. I don't think it's a terrible game. I would have probably given it like 6 out of 10 or something like that. So I'm not really sure why Zach were being so harsh on it, but they were on some games sometimes. So there you go, that was Kettle. I had fond memories of that from when I was a kid. It's not an awful game. I don't think it's a great game either, as I've just said. But yeah, I think it's worth a play if you've never played it before. I'm definitely going to keep it in my collection. I don't think it's worth getting rid of for the money I would get for it anyway, to be honest, but it's a decent enough game that I might play. If I get a chance to play with another player, it might be worth giving it a go. So there you go, that's all for this particular video. I'll be back with another one soon, obviously, and we'll find out what game that'll be in a minute. If you've got any thoughts about this game, then let me know in the video comments.
That's another game from the collection review then, so it's time to once again delve into this tin and pick out another game at random. Will I get another Commodore 64 game, or will it be for a different system? We'll soon find out. And this time around, or next time around I should say, I'm going to be playing Inspector Gadget. That's Inspector Gadget's Crazy Maze, I think it's called. That's a PS1 game, so quite a different system to the Commodore 64, although still a system that's over 20 years old now. So next time around we'll be playing Inspector Gadget's Crazy Maze on the PS1. Hope you'll join me for that. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.